Okay, this is not a letter, but it got me to think of this because I was looking at speaking of Hughie, who runs our Keep It 100 official YouTube page.
Right.
You can go check it out.
Disco
Right now
will not be. Let me just say this: Disco will not be going on to listen to the other question that might change wrestling, and I'm never going on. So just keep that in mind. But go ahead.
This is from the discussion that we had Disco Inferno on. We were talking about Aerostar's crazy bump last week, right?
Yeah.
And this is a good conversation. We just talk about it. But there was just one comment though. I just like to read on the show here.
Right.
Okay. It's from Joe Troller.
Right.
He's being very difficult lately on the YouTube channel.
Joe Troller. Funny how Conan never buries the Mexicans for their fake-ass fuck wrestling or how they no-sell everything, yet he trashes WWE like the bore that he is. Bald asshole.
Phew.
That's what Joe Troller's comment about you was.
Right.
So you have any comment to Joe Troller?
Is that supposed to be an insult? Bald asshole?
Yeah, he calls you a bald asshole. So
is Joe Troller Joe Feeney? Is that actually
no, Joe Troller's in the thing. But so do you have a comment on that?
On what?
About Joe Troller's comment.
That why don't I bury WWE or AAA?
Yeah.
I bury WWE all the time, and when AAA needs to be buried, it is.
All right. So now let's get to the next mailbag question. The next mailbag question, this is the mailbag question. This isn't from the Keep It 100 official page. This is from the mailbag. The mailbag is from Joe Troller.
All right.
And the subject is, this has been a good little few minutes of mailbag for me. I've enjoyed this.
Can I just call him out real quick for being a cheapskate?
No, let me finish reading the mail first, okay? Because the subject is, Conan needs to shut the fuck up and Ultimate Warrior, okay? Hey, Baldy, how's about you stop
again with the ball? Is that supposed to be an insult?
I'm reading the mail. Do not interrupt the letter. The mail,
got mega heat.
Hey, Baldy, how's about you stop talking shit about WWE and start talking about how shit your own wrestling is? Impact and MLW has more people in the ring than in the audiences, and even more people in the audience than actually watching on the TV. Baldy, and he puts it in big capital letters, BALDY. Oh yeah, LAX sucks. They dress like basketball guys because they definitely don't look like wrestlers. Plus, they don't know how to sell shit. You think that a so-called wrestling expert like you would slip them some advice, but you don't have any because you are dumb and bald. And Disco, Feeney's Irish drug addict butt buddy has put clips of your shit shoot from his shit show on YouTube. I think he's talking about Hughie there. How did you last an hour with that slurring fuck? My question is, no, he's got a question.
Jesus Christ.
You guys got any stories about Ultimate Warrior and WCW? I don't do the usual I wasn't around him much shit that you always do. Clearly you guys heard... Okay, this is what this last sentence says. Clearly you guys heard some stories, so fucking tell us. And he puts tell us in capital letters. That's from Baldy. He puts Baldy.
He's very demanding. And I would like to say
he's Joe Troller's heaven. He's been very very mean-spirited towards Conan. So
the last 2 weeks, real quick, the mailbag was Patreon exclusive because we had some extra time in the outro where we ambushed Simon Diamond. We ambushed Vince Russo. It was about another 15, 20 minutes. So the mailbag went to Patreon, and Joe Troller is very upset because he wants to hear his mailbag questions, but he doesn't want to join Patreon. So I'm going to take this question from Joe Troller, and I'm going to put it immediately on Patreon where you can't hear it.
Oh, okay, good.
Perfect.
And then take this clip of you saying that and put it on the YouTube channel.
Oh, he'll love that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, let's troll him back.
Yeah. Okay. The next one's from John.
Wait, do you want
by the way, to answer the question for Ultimate Warrior stories. Yes, very. I got Ultimate Warrior stories. Very weird guy. When he was in WCW, he came back. He was always. It was funny because Mike Enos was talking to him, and Enos was like, he came over and told me he's like, him and Animal and me were sitting around talking about Warrior. Okay, because Warrior was there, like walking around talking to all the boys, and Mike Enos was bringing up to me and Joe how or me and Mike how that's Animal, by the way.
Right.
Or it's Joe, right?
Animal's Joe, yeah.
Joe, Animal Joe.
Mike was Hawk.
Yeah, Mike was Hawk. So Mike Enos is saying it's like, yeah, Warrior's like really weird. He's like referring to himself in the third person, like when he's talking to me, he's like he's referring to himself as Warrior in third person when he's talking to the boys in the back, like at the show, right? So that was weird. Number two, somebody had told me this story from years ago. That Ultimate Warrior, and I don't know who could corroborate this, any other wrestlers, because you know, I've heard this story. I forgot who told me, but basically, Warrior had a very strict diet. And remember those mini thins that we used to take, the little ephedrine pills you can find in the gas stations that the truckers would take?
Yep.
Okay. He would take like 15 of those at a time, right? And supposedly you're only supposed to take like 1 or 2, right? He would take like 15 at a time, which kind of probably contributed to him acting like really weird. But what he would do is he would only eat grilled chicken breasts, egg whites, bagels, bananas, and like one other thing. He had a very, very strict diet of specific things that he ate, right? And if he wanted to eat a dessert, like if he wanted a cookie, he would take the cookie, put it in his hand, and crumble it up and hold it to his face and smell it to get the sense of smell without getting the bad calories that you would get from eating the cookie. And I thought that was very strange but very fascinating.
Yeah, that is both.
Yeah, so those are my Ultimate Warrior stories. So Joe Troller, you're welcome. Do you have any Ultimate Warrior stories, Conan?
I have a couple, but one of the best ones ever was when I was at WWE. This one I was doing Max Moon. I remember they used to have these. Do you remember these, Disco? I don't know if you ever saw if they were ever in WCW when you started. But yeah, they did have them. Remember those little soundproof rooms you would go into that almost looked like So back then they had like these soundproof rooms you would actually go into and cut promos. And I remember it was like late at night after the show, and Warrior was just cutting a tremendous promo on Vince McMahon. He was like, fuck this. I don't want to do this shit anymore. I'm tired. And Vince was like, it's okay. It's okay. You don't get mad. We can do it tomorrow. And I was thinking, wow, how much money is he making with Warrior that he's letting him dress him down like that in public? Because he was letting him have it, bro. Wow. And that really always surprised and impressed me, because you're only going to take that much shit from a top star if he's absolutely right, or he's just, you got to put up with his bullshit because he's making you so much money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.